welcome to my channel. My name is Rose, and thank you for taking the time out to click that thumbnail. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. We are so close to the weekend. I'm super excited. I plan to take a vacation day off from work, which is much needed to just kind of relax and unwind a little bit. What about you guys? Any plans for the weekend? Let me know down below. So today's video is a long overdue and much anticipated video. As you can tell from the thumbnail, this is all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have acquired since my massive palette declutter that I did earlier in the year. It has taken me some time to really just sit down and get this video filmed for you guys, because as many palettes that I had decluttered, I am having consistently an equal amount of palettes coming into my collection. I plan to do a declutter series every year moving forward, just to kind of help me rotate my palettes in and out of my collection. I can safely say that I definitely have a problem when it comes to excessively buying eyeshadow palettes. I literally cannot help myself. If you have not seen my eyeshadow palette declutter, I will have that listed in the cards for you guys if you want to go check it out. I decluttered, I think, over 70 palettes from my collection. Since then, I have acquired quite a bit of eyeshadow palettes. I don't know the number of all the new palettes that I have acquired off top of my head, so there will be a number that pops up right here to show you guys the exact amount of new palettes that has come into my collection. I definitely know that it is a lot of new palettes. That's basically what this video is going to consist of. I'm going to do it in the same format I did my declutter series, where I have you guys facing down, and I'm going to show you one by one all of the new palettes that have came into my collection and give you kind of a little mini review and my thoughts on that palette thus far. But you guys, before we get into this, if you like this video and you want to see more, stop right now and like this video. This will help me to see what kind of content that you guys enjoy. And if you want to see more videos from me, then definitely make sure you're subscribed. I put out content weekly, so you don't want to miss out on all the fun. Also, make sure to check the down bar for all my other links to all my other social media platforms. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop on into the video. Okay, so here is officially all the new palettes that I've acquired since my declutter. It's kind of a lot, but not as many as I thought it was going to be once I have them all laid out here. I'm just going to go ahead and go through these one by one to show you guys all the new palettes that I have gotten. It's a constant struggle and a constant battle for me on how to balance my eyeshadow palette collection, since it is so many of ours weaknesses. I absolutely love eyeshadow palettes, you guys. I'm obsessed, and it's really hard to resist temptation. So I have a lot of nice hot new palettes here, and I have some more smaller indie brands here, and we're gonna go ahead and go over them one by one. I'm just gonna basically start right from the top here. The first newest palette to my collection is this e.l.f. Meant to Be, and as you can see, I also have the other one. So I picked up both of these mint palettes just because if you guys didn't see my declutter videos, I will list those in the cards for you guys. I do have pretty much all of the e.l.f. bite-sized mini palettes, and I think I've only decluttered one or two. So when I saw these, I knew I had to get them. I love mint eyeshadows and just colorful eyeshadow in general. So I picked up both of these, and this is in the shade Meant to Be, and this one is a chocolate mint. I do really enjoy these. I have yet to use the chocolate mint one, which I plan to use soon. I did use this one, and it's really beautiful. Both of these are really, really pretty, you guys. I absolutely love them, and yeah, I'm really glad that I have them. So these are the first of the two palettes that I've acquired since the declutter. Next up is this OMFG Cosmetics palette. They go by numbers, so this is the number 5 color story, and it's a really beautiful green and like kind of emerald tone palette. Now this was sent to me in PR. I have all my coupon codes and affiliate links in the description box of my videos. If you're ever interested to check out some of the brands that I do partner with and ways to save you guys some money. So I do have a coupon code with OMFG Cosmetics and it'll save you 10% off. And let me tell you, their formula is amazing. Her shadows and color stories and her little mini palettes like these are really nice. So this one was recently sent over to me. So I actually am going to keep this on my vanity to go ahead and get some use out of it because look at it. It's a beautiful color story. So yes, this is the OMFG color story number 5. Up next is this Too Faced Teddy Bear eyeshadow palette. And you guys, when I saw this, I had to pick this up because for one, teddy bear, like look at how cute it is, and wait till you guys see how freaking cute this palette is. So for one, just the theme and everything really drew me in, and for two, it is beautiful color story, and not to mention it smells amazing. Typical to Too Faced other eyeshadows that just smell so incredibly yummy. And I mean, just look at it. Look at how beautiful that color story is. Now I do have a swatch reel of this over on my Instagram, so make sure you come check me out over on the gram. I do swatch reels of all the new palettes that I buy, as well as first impressions and looks and wear tests on all new palettes and products that come into my collection. So you definitely want to come and check me out over on the gram. So yes, I had to pick this palette up. It's not very big, it's just a little guy, and that's another reason that kind of drew me in because it's so stinking cute and little, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. I mean, just look at the color story on it. If I can get it to focus, it is really just a stunning color story. Like, do I have these shades? Absolutely, 10 times over, but it's just beautiful. So I picked up the Teddy Bear palette from Too Faced. Up next is the Natasha Denona Mini Glam palette. Now I got this for my birthday or shortly thereafter. A couple of these mini palettes from Natasha Denona I got for my birthday. So this is one of them. It's the Mini Glam. Now stay tuned and keep watching because you're going to see some other Natasha Denona palettes that I have since acquired as well. But this is just beautiful. Beautiful color story. If you have not tried Natasha Denona, she has a really great eyeshadow palette formula, though her formula is a little bit inconsistent when it comes to her palettes. So like her biggest palettes, the formula is really good. And then she has her mid-size palettes, which the formula is okay. And some of her minis are like hit and miss, but so far so good with this one. I've used it a couple times and the formula seems to be really nice. So I do recommend trying to get one of her either mini palettes or her mid-size palettes if you are interested in trying Natasha Denona, but just can't afford her more expensive palettes or don't want to spend that much money on makeup. I highly recommend that you try like this one, the Mini Glam, or the Mini Nude is really good. And we'll get to that one next. So yeah, this one is the Mini Glam palette. Up next is the Made by Mitchell Head in the Clouds palette. This is relatively newer. I bought this one about a month ago and I really just wanted it, you guys. I just wanted it. There was no rhyme or reason besides how beautiful the color story is in here. So let me see if I can't get it open. And not to mention, I found this on Mercari for 25 bucks. It's originally, I believe, $39.95. I will list it on the screen, the cost of it, but just look at that color story. Might I add, the formula on these shades is incredible. Like, absolutely beautiful formula. I'm currently using this right now for a 3 Looks 1 palette series over on my Instagram, and I have created some of the most beautiful looks with this. And what I like about it is not only a colorful palette, it also has pastels, but it also has neutral tones in it as well. So I will insert on the screen here, you can see I created this really beautiful beautiful neutral tone look using this palette with the browns and the yellows and the beige up there. Just a really great versatile palette. And the formula on this is incredible, you guys. Like, blew my mind how gorgeous these shades swatched out for me. So I did a swatch reel on it, and they're just so pigmented, so rich and even and creamy, and just really, really great formula. So I picked up the Head in the Clouds palette Made by Mitchell. Up next is the ABH Norvina Volume 2 palette. And now this is from Norvina's brand. I also got this on Mercari, and I got it for a fraction of the cost. I think I got it for like 20 bucks. But the reason I got it for so cheap is because the mirror on it is kind of cracked and broke, which that's okay to me. I don't really mind. It is a beautiful color story, but it's just really big and bulky. That's the issue I've had. I'm not really sure why I decided to pick up a couple big palettes, even though I am using the Made by Mitchell palette. It's because I'm doing a 3 looks 1 palette with it. This one, however, is big. It's just bulky packaging, and then with the mirror being kind of broken on it, it makes it even more awkward to store. But the formula on it does seem to be really nice. The color story is beautiful, but some of the shades in here are kind of hit and miss, I've noticed. Because it's relatively newer to my collection, and I recently did just pick it up, I'm not going to declutter it just yet. Maybe, though, next year on 2022, which is approaching very quickly, it may be on the chopping block. We shall see. And again, here's another bigger palette that I purchased, which is the Be Perfect Carnival 3 palette, the Love Tahiti one. Another one that I purchased for my birthday. And even though this one is big, you guys, this has probably got to be one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I own in my collections to date. It is absolutely beautiful. That color story is incredible. And the formula on these shades is really, really nice. I've enjoyed every look I've created with this. And I have created some stunning looks with this. Some of my most beautiful looks I've created with this palette. Sorry if it's getting cut off in the frame. I'm trying my best to make sure I can kind of get it in frame the best that I can. This one is beautiful. No regrets here. I did purchase this brand new off of Be Perfect's website, and I do not regret this one in the least bit. The formula is amazing. The hype around this palette is everything that you can possibly think of. It definitely holds true, and the reviews are really great, and for good reason. It's just a beautiful, beautiful palette. Up next is these two beautiful, smaller, these are like eyeshadow quads from Nomad Cosmetics. Now, these were both sent to me in PR, and this one is the Incentes palette as well as the Malibu palette, and they're really beautiful color stories. They're small, they're compact, and there's no thought or a lot of effort that you have to put into your looks, which I definitely can appreciate. So it's a real beautiful color story. I have a coupon code with Nomad Cosmetics as well, and it will be linked in the description box. It'll save you 10% off. If you are interested in picking up any palettes from Nomad Cosmetics, I highly recommend. Their formula is just incredible. So look at how pretty that color story is as well. This one is all matte. Really great little palettes. Again, these were sent to me in PR from the brand. Up next is the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette, and I got this one over the summertime. Just another palette that's been on my wish list, and I've been seeing and hearing a lot of good things on, and it was on sale at Ulta for like $20, so I could not resist a good sale, especially on higher end brands like Urban Decay. And because I don't own any other Urban Decay palettes, I really wanted to pick up this one and try their formula finally for the first time. time. I know it's crazy considering how many palettes I have. I do not own any other Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes, just because the naked ones never really called to me. But this one, however, is really beautiful. Those creamy foily shades in here are so beautiful on the eye. As you see, they're like crushed pearls in there, and they're quite unique and just really beautiful. And then on the outside, you have the matte shades to really just kind of create everything you need in this one palette, which I can appreciate. And so far, so very good. It comes with a really nice brush that I actually want to pull out to make sure I use for just my collection in general, because I do know their brushes are really nice. So I'm actually going to hold on to that. So yes, I had recently picked up these Stone Vibes from Urban Decay. Up next, another newer palette that I have since acquired is the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles. And I wanted to get this one because it just is beautiful color story for one. And for two, these 16 pan palettes that BH Cosmetics makes, the formula in these is really quite special and very creamy. It's very opaque and they just blend so beautifully together. I have done a swatch reel on this, but I have yet to create with it. But I like to use color and play with color all year round, so I really do want to actually try to create with this. It's just a beautiful color story, and I know again that these 16 pan palettes from BH Cosmetics, the formula in all of them, and I have quite a few of them, have all been really good. So when I seen this one, I knew I had to have it. Look at how freaking cute. You have the Hollywood star there. So it's just a great palette, and yeah, I'm glad that I have it. Up next is the beautiful Give Me Glow Vivid Rose palette. And this is another one that I picked up for my birthday, and oh, you guys, I just cannot say enough good things about Give Me Glow's formula in general. Look at how absolutely beautiful that color story is. I also really been meaning and wanting to get the Vintage Rose palette, but I had seen that this one was in stock and I just kind of dived in and picked it up. I do love me some pink eyeshadow and pink looks in general. Pink is one of my favorite colors, and it's got pinks and purples and just some beautiful dusty mauve tones, and those shimmer shades are incredible. Might I add that their mattes are really nice, and they are just really big pans. I mean, look at the size of those pans. It is a big, beautiful palette, and I definitely do not feel bad about purchasing this one whatsoever. It is very valuable. It adds a lot of value to my collection, and I'm glad that I have it. Moving right along, up next is the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. I told you we were going to get back to some more Natasha Denona palettes. These are her mid-size palettes, and these retail for around $65. So this one was actually gifted to me through Look Fantastic. For those of you who don't know, I am an affiliate with Look Fantastic, so they went ahead and sent me a voucher when I partnered with them. And this was one of the things that I decided to pick up. Beautiful, bronzy, just a great palette for fall especially. I've been meaning to actually use this for the fall and definitely plan to get some more use out of it. I have created some really beautiful looks with this. The only thing that this is kind of lacking is I wish it had more mid-tone like matte shades, and that some of the shimmer shades weren't so similar. Like these two are very similar. These three are very similar. Actually, these four are very similar. But when you do swatch them, they have their subtle differences. But I just wish there was a little bit more matte shades in here, like mid-tone matte shades, because you only have a couple matte shades and there's not really a mid-tone matte. But other than that, I do really think it's a beautiful palette, and I'm glad that I have it. I actually plan to leave this one out as well. I would like to get some more use on it, especially right now for the fall season. And up next is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. So you guys saw I had the mini Glam, and then since that I had also picked up the Glam palette. So now I have both the mini and the full-size Glam palette, just because I really enjoyed the mini Glam so much, and I actually purchased 2 of these. So I got one for a giveaway over on my Instagram and gave one away, and then I went ahead and purchased another one for myself. And this is a beautiful color story. The formula in this is really nice. It's very consistent. The shades are really nice. There's a lot of variety in here, and you really can create some beautiful cool tone looks. If you are a cool tone lover and you're really wanting to look for a palette that, you know, kind of caters to your wants of being a cool tone lover, then I highly recommend checking out this Natasha Denona's Glam palette. I think it'll make a great addition to anybody's collection who prefers more cooler tone looks or quote unquote glam looks. It's a beautiful palette, and I'm really glad that I have it. Up next is the Nomad Cosmetics America's Parks palette. And this one was also sent over to me from the brand. Really super appreciative of Felicia over at Nomad Cosmetics for sending this over to me. This was their summer release. And you guys, this palette is absolutely beautiful, like beautiful. I really do love their formula. And just because it was sent to me, NPR does not deter or change my opinion or my thoughts on anything. You guys know I will always tell it like it is and give you guys my honest opinions and honest reviews on anything. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it was sent or not. Their formula is just incredible. I also have, if you guys seen my declutter, I also kept their Tokyo palette, and it's just beautiful. This one is absolutely gorgeous. Love the color story. Super grateful for this palette. And again, I will have my coupon code for Nomad linked down in the description. The prices are reasonable on their palettes, and the formula is really nice. I highly recommend Nomad if you haven't tried. So now I'm also including in this not only just palettes that I purchased, but anything that has came into my collection, whether it was sent in PR or I purchased it or it was gifted or whatever the case may be, I'm including all of those categories. Up next is the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dream palette, another one that has just been on my wish list for a very long time since it released. And for one, look at the packaging, how stunning that is. I actually picked this one up on Mercari, and I got it for an incredibly low price of $20, you guys. $20 was all I got this for. Beautiful color story. The shades in here are really nice. The mattes blend really beautifully. The shimmers on top are all stunning. Especially the shade Blue Diamond right there. That shade is quite special and very unique. Just a gorgeous palette. The shades are just so beautiful. I love the little moons on the middle row. And yeah, it's just a great palette. It's a great addition to my collection. And yeah, I'm glad I picked this one up. For $20, you really can't beat it. It's Lunar Beauty. Up next is another Mercari purchase, and this is the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. This is another one that I really wanted to get because I do really enjoy cool tone shades. Like, did I need this? No, because I had just gotten the Natasha Denona Glam palette, but I really wanted to pick it up. I have since used it a few times. I've done a 3 looks 1 palette with this, and I do really enjoy these tones and textures and shades. Now, you guys know, if you've watched my declutter, I got rid of a few of my ColourPop eyeshadow palettes, but this formula in here is really nice, and I don't see myself getting rid of this one on my next year's declutter, because I do plan to do an eyeshadow palette declutter, if anything, each year moving forward, especially since more and more things are continually coming into my collection, whether it be PR or purchases or just the extreme need to buy all these palettes all the time. So I definitely plan to hold on to this one for a while. Again, it's a beautiful color story. You can create so many beautiful, countless looks with this. And yeah, I'm really glad that I have this a part of my collection. Up next is another Gimme Glow palette, and this is the Pastel Dreams palette. I picked this up over the summer off of Gimme Glow's website for good reason, just because. Look at it. Look at how beautiful. So beautiful, you guys. I literally cannot help myself when it comes to especially brands like Give Me Glow, JD Glow, Cleona. Speaking of which, I have also picked up some single shadows from Cleona. Maybe if there's time left at the end of the video, I'll try to show you guys those. So yeah, I picked up the Pastel Dreams from Give Me Glow. Beautiful pastel palette. The shades are very rich, and for being a pastel palette, they are actually really pigmented and blend out very nicely. You kind of got to work with pastels and like more of a packing motion on your eyes, because if you blend, they'll just kind of blend away, but these actually work and blend together really nicely, and it's just a beautiful palette. So yeah, the Pastel Dreams is another newer palette that I picked up since the Declutter. We're moving on down the line. We're kind of nearing the end, but kind of not, because I still have quite a few palettes left here, so let's just keep on going. Up next is this Aether Beauty Moonlight Crystals palette, and I recently just picked this one up about a month ago. This is a brand that I've been really curious to try. I've heard a lot of great things about Aether Beauty on Instagram especially, so I really wanted to just pick one up, and this is one of their newer palettes, and it's really quite a beautiful color story. Here's what she looks like. Real beautiful, unique shaped pans in here. The color story is stunning. The formula is actually really nice. The only thing that I wish it had is a little bit more matte shade so that you can kind of have an all-in-one palette. There's no mirror, so it's more eco-friendly. And yeah, the formula is really nice. I just really need to make it a point to create with it. I did do a swatch reel on it, but then that was kind of it. It's been sitting, as do a lot of my palettes, because I just have so many and I continually keep adding to my collection. So I've tried to stop buying palettes recently, because I know I've gotten quite a bit more since the Declutter. I'm trying to really resist temptations and stuff, and with the holidays coming, it's like I know I'm gonna get stuff for Christmas and everything, so there's really no need to keep buying palettes because it's obviously a problem of mine. So yeah, I picked up this Aether Beauty Moonlight Crystals palette, and it is a really pretty palette. Up next is a palette from Adept Cosmetics, and this is the Kodan palette. Now this one was sent over from Adept. It is a beautiful palette, you guys. I'm so incredibly grateful for so many amazing opportunities that I've had, and being able to work with some of my favorite brands, you guys. It really means the world to me, and the fact that they sent over this palette, I'm just so grateful. Like, this palette is beautiful. So many extreme duochrome, multi-chrome, like super shifty shades, especially ACI 27. That shade is quite unique. It flips to like a red, a fiery orange, to a green. I mean, incredible shade, as you can see there. I mean, all of the shades in here are beautiful. The shade Kodan is really special, and it's just a beautiful palette. I've gotten a lot of good use out of this already, and I just got it. So yes, this was sent over from the brand Adept, and again, this is the Kodan palette. Up next is another Adept Cosmetics palette, which is the Plain Jane palette. Now this one I went ahead and purchased myself. Just look at it. This has been my go-to palette for pretty much any and every look that I create. I tend to reach for this and top whatever shade I have on my lid with one of these beautiful shades. I mean, it is just stunning, you guys. I know she has since revamped, and in her newer Plain Jane palette, these two shades are now different. Real beautiful new shades. So this is the original palette, and I think this would make a great addition to anyone's collection. These shades are just incredible. If you have not tried Adept Cosmetics shades, I highly recommend checking them out. I know I keep saying this for so many brands, but there are so many incredible brands out there, you guys, and I've been so fortunate to work with some of these awesome brands and to try so many different brands' formulas. And I think that's part of my weakness when it comes to buying palettes is I want to try every brand, and even if it's just once, just to try the formula and see what I like and what I don't like. So this one is definitely a love of mine. I do have a coupon code with Adept as well, and it'll also be listed down in the description box of the video. Up next is the Chromatic Palette, which was sent over from the brand called Rose Company Cosmetics. I mean, is that not just like perfect? Rose Company Cosmetics. Rose is my name. Like, it's meant to be, right? But this is a chromatic palette as well, which is another duochrome, extreme multi-chrome, like flippy shades, super shifty shades. Really great formula. The owner of the brand is a really sweet, sweet girl. She's very supportive. And yeah, I'm really grateful that she sent this palette over. I have another one that she sent as well. But again, these are really just extreme shifty shades to really kind of amplify any look that you may create. So this is again the Chromatic Palette from Rose Company Cosmetics. Up next is the Juvia's Place Saharan palette. This was actually in one of my beauty subscription boxes called Diva Fresh, and they are a monthly beauty subscription service, and this was in their August box. And it's Juvia's Place, you guys. Need I say more about how incredible Juvia's Place formula is? It's a beautiful palette. I haven't gotten any use out of it yet or swatched it yet, but I definitely plan to very soon. Definitely glad to have this. You cannot go wrong with any Juvia's Place palettes. Up next is another LA Girl Desert Dream main stage palette. LA Girl is a really affordable brand. They're a drugstore brand. This color story is really what kind of drew me in, just because I love blues and greens together like this in a color story and in an eyeshadow palette. And I own a few of these bigger palettes like this from LA Girl and really, really love the formula. It's a really great formula, especially those creamy shades up top. I actually need to do a swatch reel on this. Hopefully soon I can do that. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful color story, and that's the main reason on what really drew me in for this, and that and the cost. It's only like 15 bucks or 18 bucks, so not a bad deal, and the pan sizes are really big in here. So yeah, this is the Desert Dream from LA Girl Cosmetics. Up next is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette, and are you guys surprised? I'm sure you can see over here the stack of the newer Huda Beauty 9-pan palettes that have since came out. So I'm sure you guys are not surprised. If you've been here for a while, you'll know I am an absolute fan of Huda Beauty's eyeshadow palettes. I am currently panning her Mercury Retrograde this year as my 2021 PTP. So when I seen she released this palette, I had to get it. It is so hard for me to resist any of Huda Beauty's eyeshadow palettes just because she knows how to curate and put together an eyeshadow palette, you guys. Time and time again, she knocks it out of the park. The only shade that's a little bit questionable in here is the shade Slippery. It's like crushed pearl pigments in there with a jelly topper over top. So it's a bit difficult and different to work with. It kind of gives you that wet look on the lid if you're into that. I don't really prefer to do like the wet look on the lid. I kind of like to set it so that it doesn't crease, but it's really pretty nonetheless. It's just different. That's the only shade again that's really different in the palette. But other than that, I love the color story and I really love this palette. Up next is not an actual eyeshadow palette, but this is a magnetic palette that I recently picked up from Adept Cosmetics. They are known for like making really awesome, durable, magnetic palettes for you to put your single shadows in. And they also do build your own palettes where you can pick out so many of your own different kind of eyeshadows that they have, which they have matte shades, they have shimmer shades, diamond topper shades, iridescent shades, which is what mainly mainly like the plain Jane palette consists of that I showed you. So yeah, I went ahead and picked up this magnetic palette because I have another one from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. Because again, like I said, I did purchase some Cleona single shadows, some from Looksy I have, as well as Terra Moon Cosmetics, and I've really been kind of expanding my single shadow collection. So I bought this magnetic palette from Give Me Glow, and it's just huge. The palette itself is so big, so I wanted to get something a little more smaller, a little more compact. I mean, it's big, don't get me wrong, but it's easier to store. It's not nearly as big as the one I have from Give Me Glow. So yeah, I went ahead and picked up this magnetic palette from Adept Cosmetics. Okay, you guys, so these are all the palettes that I have left, and this is all that remains left from all of the new eyeshadow palettes that I purchased since my massive palette declutter earlier this year. Once I'm done showing all these palettes, I need to go through and recount my numbers and recount my eyeshadow palettes to see if I've gotten closer to the number that I started with at the beginning of this year before I started my declutter, or what. I'm curious to know. Next up is the Huda Beauty Python palette, and this is part of her Wild Obsessions launch that she recently launched, and I'm going to tell you guys now, I do have all 4 of the Wild Obsessions palettes. First off, just look at the outer packaging. I love that. I love how it shifts like that. I cannot remember what that kind of texture is called where it shifts, but it's so beautiful, you guys, that shifty packaging. So here's what the palette looks like, and I have used all 4 of these palettes because there are 4 to the Wild Obsessions line. And I can definitely vouch and say that the formula on these is really, really nice. You guys know I am a huge fan of hers. I literally can't help myself when it comes to Huda Beauty. So yes, I picked up the Python palette. Up next is the Chameleon palette, which is also from the Wild Obsessions launch. Beautiful, rich reds and oranges and browns and that beautiful pop of purple down here. And these shades that kind of have this snake print are absolutely stunning. So sparkly. She has her shimmer swirl shades in here. I mean, even for a 9pan palette, they are just so versatile, and you have a lot of different varieties of textures and tones, and she just makes great palettes, you guys. So yeah, this is the Chameleon one. Followed by the Jaguar palette, which is also from the Wild Obsessions. And this is another beautiful, cool tone, smoky lover palette. And it's just gorgeous, you guys. That middle shade, again, with the snake print is stunning purple shade. She's got this speckled shimmer shade, really gorgeous shades. A deep, rich matte black shade. That matte black is probably one of the most matte black shades that I have. So yes, this is a gorgeous, cool tone, smoky palette. And that is the Jaguar palette. And followed by the Wild Tiger palette from the Wild Obsessions line. Beautiful. Now this one is sold exclusively on her website, Huda Beauty's website. The other 3 from the Wild Obsessions line you can pick up at Sephora as well, but this one is exclusive to her website. So at first I only thought there was the 3 until I seen this one creep on by on my explore page on Instagram. So you know I had to have it. It's beautiful, warm tones and golds and bronzy shades and that beautiful duochrome flip shade. It flips from like a gold to a pink. It's really beautiful, and the formula is superb because Huda Beauty makes a killer palettes. And now we're moving on to the Brown Obsessions. I'm going to try to keep these in order to the launches that she released, starting with the Caramel Brown. Now I recently picked this one up. I have the other 2 from the Brown Obsessions that she launched over the summertime, and I wanted to get the caramel one just because to make the collection complete, I guess, and just because I'm obsessed with Huda Beauty's Obsession palettes, literally. So I literally just got this one in the mail like a week ago, and I did a swatch reel on it. It's beautiful, rich caramel shades, and they're just gorgeous. I know this isn't some people's favorite, and I think they said it's a little bit inconsistent, but I haven't had any problems with it yet, though I haven't created an actual look with it yet. I definitely plan to, as it's been sitting on my vanity. I think it's just perfect for this time of year, these rich orange tones and caramel shades, stunning color story, and just a beautiful palette. So again, that is the Caramel Brown Obsessions, followed by the Chocolate Brown Obsessions, which this is actually the first one of the 3 of the brown obsessions that I picked up. Beautiful brown shades, chocolate brown. And what I can appreciate about this is these are true brown shades. Now I know Huda Beauty has a tendency to have, like, some of her shades have a pinker berry tone undertone to them, but these are true neutral brown shades. There is no pink pooling undertone underneath. And it's just a beautiful brown tone palette, neutral brown tone palette. You can't go wrong. Every girl needs a neutral brown tone palette. So this is ideal. 9 pans, small, compact, and beautiful. And last from the brown obsessions over the summer that she launched is the Toffee Brown palette. And this is a lot of people's favorite, and it's definitely creeping up there to become my favorite out of her brown obsessions, because it's just beautiful. Toffee palette. I mean, Toffee Obsessions could not be more of a perfect name for this color story. I mean, just look at how gorgeous it is, and that beautiful mustardy yellow shade and that caramel shade and just that warm brownish yellow shade. It's just a great palette. Again, Huda just knows how to create a palette, you guys. So again, this is the Toffee Brown Obsessions. Moving right along with some more Huda Beauty palettes. Next up is the Huda Beauty Nude Rich. Why I felt I needed this is because I have the Nude Medium and I have the Nude Light, and the formula in those are incredible. They're definitely the best formula by far from her 9pan palettes, and I'm not saying that the other ones are bad or anything, because I have all of them almost. Just the formula is superb in Nude Medium and Nude Light. So I really wanted to pick up Nude Rich. So I recently got this one about a month ago, and it does not disappoint. You don't have to have a darker skin complexion for these shades to look beautiful on you, though they are ideal for a more darker skin, but it's just a beautiful burgundy, rich, vibrant, just gorgeous color story. And again, this is the Nude Rich palette. Up next is another Huda Beauty Obsessions palette, and that is the Gemstone Obsessions. Now, this one was also in my Diva Fresh monthly beauty subscription box. I'm really excited that this is actually in that box, because I didn't own this palette previously. I always wanted the Gemstone Obsessions. It's just all shimmer shades, but man, let me tell you, those shades are so incredibly creamy and rich. They blend out so nice on the eye. They pick up beautifully on a brush, which I can definitely appreciate, because I know some of her shimmer shades you kind of have to use your finger for the maximum payoff and all of that, but these work really nicely with the brush. I had no issues on picking them up, and I've created some really beautiful looks using this as like my topper shades for any of my looks. So again, this is the Gemstone Obsessions from Huda Beauty. Up next is the Smoky Obsessions from Huda Beauty. And this is like her first original Obsessions palette, I believe. And surprisingly, I did not have this. It's actually very similar to her Jaguar palette, now that I'm looking at it, with that really rich matte black shade. But that silver shade right here is stunning. And I know the formula in this one is really, really good. I've heard great things on how good this formula is. And I heard she was getting rid of her original one. So I wanted to hurry up and pick up the Smoky one at least, because I own pretty much all the other ones. So I had to get Smoky. And yeah, I'm glad that I got it. And it's a beautiful palette. And lastly, from my Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes, the newer ones that I've acquired since my declutter is the Emerald Obsessions. And this one is a green themed palette. Beautiful colors in here. What I like about this one is you can literally do 3 different tones of a green kind of look. So on the top row, you can really create a fun, light pastel green type of look. And then the middle row, if you use those shades, you can really create just a mid-tone green look. And if you use the bottom row, you can really create like an army green tone type of look. And of course, mix them all up and just any kind of green kind of look that you can think of. This palette will definitely have you covered. It's just a great, beautiful Emerald Obsessions palette, and I've been dying to pick this one up. So I got this off of Mercari for $10, you guys. Up next is the ColourPop That's Taupe palette. And did I need this palette? Heck no, I didn't need any of these new palettes that I picked up, you guys. But I have the Going Coconuts palette from ColourPop, and I actually kept that one from my declutter earlier this year and really love it. And I heard a lot of good things about the That's Taupe palette, and surprisingly, I don't have many taupey shades or taupey palettes. So I figured, well, I don't think I have any taupe palettes. Why not get this one from ColourPop? It looks really beautiful. I still need to create with it. I got this on Mercari for $10, and that's another reason why I picked it up, because I got it for $10, you guys. And it looks gorgeous. So that is the That's Taupe from ColourPop. And we are down to the last 2 palettes from all the palettes I've gotten since the declutter. Starting with the Rose Company Cosmetics Iced Gold palette. And this was another one that was sent over from the brand Rose Company Cosmetics. It's a beautiful color story, you guys. Look at how gorgeous that is. I plan to do a swatch reel on this really soon to see just how well these shades do perform and how well they swatch out. I do love the Chromatic Palette that I had showed you guys previously, but I'm really curious to see how well her matte shades perform. It's a beautiful color story, and yeah, I'm really glad that I have it. So again, this is the Ice Gold palette from Rose Company Cosmetics. And last but not least is the Laura Lee Los Angeles Nude Patootie palette. This is another Mercari purchase. And if you watched my declutter, you'll know I decluttered the dupe that I had for this, which was from the brand C Color Cosmetics, and it was called the Dope 1 eyeshadow palette, I believe. But the reason I decluttered it wasn't because of this color story. It was just because the formula wasn't that great, because it was like a knockoff brand for duping other higher end brands. So I really did like the color story, but again, the formula wasn't that great. Beautiful nude neutral tone palette. And again, every girl needs to have some kind of neutral tone palette in their collection. Well, yeah, I went ahead and picked this up. Beautiful palette. We've all heard lots of different things about Laura Lee, whether they were good or bad. So I'm excited to try her formula and see how well it is. So this is the last of all the palettes that I've acquired since the declutter, which is a lot, I know. Okay, so there is my pile of all the new palettes that I've acquired since my declutter earlier this year. So I have quite a few here, and did I need to get this many more palettes since I've decluttered so many palettes earlier this year? I did so well, and I got rid of like 77 palettes, I believe. So I don't have 77 new palettes. So that right there tells me I know I have not passed the number of palettes I've actually decluttered. The struggle is definitely real, you guys. I don't know what to do about it, but to just basically say enough is enough, Rose. But when you're an extreme makeup lover such as myself, and I'm sure many of you who watch my channel, you'll be able to totally relate to this. That's everything for now, you guys. Stay tuned. I plan to do a declutter again at the beginning of the year. Moving forward, every every year is as many palettes as I have coming into my collection, I want to try to continually have going out as well. So thank you so much if you have watched this all the way to the end. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some new palettes that you've recently picked up this year and which one is your favorite purchase this year. So that's everything for this video, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to like it. It's a free way to show your girl some support. Also, make sure you subscribe, and until next time, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!